Ooh, hello everyone in the comments. I see you were already excited. I'm sorry for the delay, but welcome to Gavin is back. The co-founder, the founder of Polkadot, the co-founder of Ethereum, is returning as the CEO of Parity Technologies, and I want to discuss a little bit what it means. And so this is what we're gathering here for together. I already see some comments here in chat, so you can feel free to drop any questions you have throughout this conversation. The announcement has been coming out about an hour ago. I quickly tried to gather myself, pick up all the questions you might have asked, and just see through what the implications are that Gavin Wood is returning as the CEO of Parity Technologies. So let's start with the announcement. Go a little bit through what we actually know from information right now. Then we will discuss a little bit why now, what is the intention behind it, what will be the focus. And of course, we will discuss what will it mean for Parity Technologies, what will it mean for Polkadot technology, what will it mean for the Polkadot ecosystem, our go-to-market strategy, and maybe even the broader implications for Web3. And with that, let's start right in. So we start with the actual announcement. What do we know? So on the Parity blog, as of today, this was 1 hour ago, Gavin Wood posted this update. And let's read it. So Parity started as a small band of hackers who preferred writing code to wearing titles. In 2022, I stepped away from the CEO role to immerse myself in protocol R&D. Back then, this was a very controversial move. His intention was very simple. He said there is a lot of administrative stuff that he has to take care of at Parity Technologies, and it is keeping his focus away from developing the Polkadot protocol. So back at the time, he decided to step down as the CEO, hand it over to Björn Wagner, a longtime partner in building Polkadot. And right now, it seems time that Gavin is coming back. Okay, I see a question here from Chaotic. Tommy, would you be open to do an open stream once we launch our platform? If you want to do like streams together, just reach out, write me a message on Telegram or Twitter. All right, okay. So Gavin says, explaining that I'm a thinker, a coder, a designer, and an architect at heart. That deep work has borne fruit, shaping the next evolution of Web3. So, and he's referring to everything that's coming out at Polkadot right now, Polkadot 2.0, Jam, and a lot of the other upgrades that we're going to talk about. Today, I'm picking the baton back up. In late August, I'll resume my duties as CEO as my co-founder and friend Björn Wagner steps down after 3 game-changing years at Parity's helm and 9 years in total with the team. So why does he return now? In short, leverage. And I think this is the most relevant paragraph of the whole thing. The architectural groundwork is laid and the market is ready. Pairing vision with day-to-day execution from the CEO seat will let us move faster and accelerate the next phase of growth. So the thing that I'm reading here is pairing vision with day-to-day execution. So the idea here is, I think, and this was the question that I also got on Twitter, is like, why did he step down? Why is he stepping up now again? And what about Jam? So the way I understand it is Polkadot 2.0 is ready to launch, and Polkadot has been in developing for many, many years. Polkadot 1.0 gave the technology to people to build solder chains, parachains, and build in an interoperable universe, basically, right? But there was still a lot of user experience missing. There was still a lot of optimizations and economic usability in the whole thing that was missing. All of that is being delivered with Polkadot 2.0 right now. And so since these developments are coming to a conclusion and we will have the launch of Polkadot 2.0 in a few weeks, I think this is something that makes a lot of sense. Point 2 here is Jam is something that he has been very focused on, this new engine of Polkadot that will increase scalability a lot, that will bring transactionless programming, new types of applications, a new type of composability for applications. And my understanding is that this also the specification here is very advanced and it's moving now into optimization stages. I'm not 100% certain, so I will ask him next Tuesday in the open developer call core developer call that we are having every month, where we have a little bit of an opportunity to ask him about his thoughts, everything he's working on right now. But I think this will be a bigger question that's coming up: is what are the exact reasons, and what does he intend to do? He gives a word of thanks to Björn Wagner. Björn Wagner stepped up 3 years ago, and he was a CEO that was working mostly in the background. We didn't see him too much, but I had a conversation. I had the possibility to talk with him a few weeks ago, and I saw that he's a very engaged guy that just was working in the background and making sure that the things that are operating, so that Parity can keep working and the work goes on, so that everyone else is free to deliver the value that they want to. So he gives a few words of thanks here to Björn. What changes with the team? Nothing day to day, but of course the bigger picture is evolving. And then a call to builder. And so this is, I think, a very interesting aspect here. So let's look a little bit into what will the focus of Gavin be in the coming time? What does it mean for Parity, Polkadot Tech, the ecosystem, go-to-market, and Web3? And first of all, this is maybe something that is not too relevant for us, but it is relevant for Parity. And Parity is the core development team for the Polkadot Tech stack. These are the people that build the technology, right? So, and that means Polkadot SDK, the core thing that allows us to have chains. They are big contributors to the Polkadot protocol and runtime, and then they have a lot of tooling around all of that. So let me check my notes. A few of the things that are coming out right now. Polkadot 2.0 is a thing that we have talked about a lot. Polkadot 2.0 allows parachains to scale economically to consume as many resources as they want. It allows them to have sub-second block times if they want. It allows them to have any amount of data availability that they need. And a lot of other improvements. We have Polkadot Hub, and recently I've been growing more and more bullish again about Polkadot Hub, because this is gonna be such a huge unlock in terms of, in one way you can look at it and you can say, okay, it's basically just a smart contract platform. But it is a smart contract platform that allows you to tap into all the superpowers that are available to you in the Polkadot cloud. So every parachain can be reached from a smart contract on Polkadot Hub trustlessly. You send a message and you know there is a guaranteed delivery, and it's not like in 15 minutes or in half an hour or an hour, it's within 6 seconds. Or like even, like within 6 seconds. And so that is a huge thing. Polkadot Hub is coming, and I'm growing more and more excited about all the things that we're going to see in terms of composability, bringing together the different parachains and their features in Polkadot and allowing you to call them from one smart contract. The Polkadot app is coming out, and we know that it is about to launch. It is already reviewed and approved in the Play Store and in the App Store. And there is just one more outstanding audit. So there's a security audit, and there is a payment server in the backend. You can have USDC, you can have, I guess, USDT, you can have DOT, you can send gifts to friends. So they have prepared a lot of good stuff that you can do. You can shop with the Polkadot app. And then Polkadot Deploy is a roll-up as a service thing. It's a thing where you can build a parachain and you can deploy it within 15 minutes. I've been asking the team, and they tell me you can deploy a chain within 15 minutes. You can rent a core. You basically pay as you go. And you can have a fully functioning EVM chain. You deploy it and you deploy your smart contracts and you're ready to go. You don't need to change any code in Rust or anything. You can just deploy rollups. And this is such an interesting thing, because when you look at what is happening in other ecosystems, rollup as a service was a very big narrative, but it's still hard to build those chains, right? And so bringing this to Polkadot in a way where we have this, it's a very interesting development in my mind, where Polkadot has been really building for the long run, and these things are now coming into fruition. And you see it also reflected on the careers page. So if you look at the careers page from Parity Technologies right now, they are hiring, right? So acceleration, engineering manager, technical project manager, incubation, they're looking to, proof of person identity, mobile engineers, developer experience, runtime engineers. So they are hiring, and I know that from their criteria, they're really looking for the best people. I have referred some candidates to them, and 2 of them have been rejected because they have such good criteria on the types of people that they want. All right. Okay, moving on. And one last thing that I want to mention for Parity Technologies. Parity Technologies has really focused on improving developer experience. So this has been something in the past where there was a bad reputation for the developer experience, not the best. But you have some people that are working really hard to remove all of those blockers. Big shout out to Karim. So because they are working to improve developer experience, CLI tooling, providing data snapshots, providing documentation. And I think, so coming back to Gavin, what we see here is that this is actually a big signal to developers and builders. You have a technical founder returning to the seat of the CEO in Polkadot. So let's see how it is evolving, because Parity has been choosing more and more to focus on really good developer experience, and I think it's one of the key criteria to have. But having technical founder now come back, now that everything is in place, I think one ideal outcome would really be to look at, okay, what kind of highlight applications can we build now? How can we showcase that what the technology is capable to do now that everything is placed? So this is what I'm really hoping for, that it will be one focus of Gavin, is to focus on showcase applications that showcase the technology. And I think proof of personhood is one of the things that you see is also reflected here in the hiring. All right. So that was what it means for Parity. Now, moving on, what does it mean Polkadot Tech? I think we got that covered. Let's look a little bit into the ecosystem and the go-to-market. So go-to-market is a fairly big topic. And what we mean by that is having the technology and actually aiming for adoption. So this is a topic that has been a fairly big conversations recently. I've been talking with people from Parity. I've been talking with people from the Web3 Foundation, other builders in the ecosystems, VCs, and I think everyone agrees right now. We need to have a focus on bringing the technology to adoption. And that means, first of all, bringing it to developers, showing to the world what Polkadot technology is capable of. And I think this is something where we have been tuning out a little bit of the conversation. So if you look at the Polkadot community, they focused so much on building that they tuned out of many conversations where today, if I'm looking at how on Twitter, or how are Ethereum developers talking with Cosmos developers, with Solana developers, and with other developers, it feels sometimes to me like Solana and Ethereum are interacting a lot, and we are not so much interacting with them. This is something I'm personally changing, where I'm engaging more. I posted a little bit of rage bait recently on Twitter and on YouTube. But basically, I just want to engage in conversations and show how Polkadot technology works. Recently, I excited one of the, I think it was a Cosmos or Solana developer. It was a Solana developer. I don't know. Whatever. And I just retweeted this tweet from Hydration where someone said I was paying my fees with USDC. And I just retweeted it and said, hey, look, someone is paying their fees with USDC. They don't even need the native token of the chain. And then some developer, Solana, Ethereum, was coming into the conversation and said, what? You don't need any weird constructions like ERC. I'm sorry, I forgot it, like ERC 37 something. And I'm like, nah, you can just build it in the runtime. You can build it in a protocol. And it's not something where you need to have weird constructions on top of it. And this is something that in other ecosystems, you talk about account abstraction or gas abstraction or such things, and then you realize this is natively built, right? So I think this is where it shows that building for the long run and building for the technology that scales and that you can actually adapt to your use cases is something that really pays off. So yeah, go-to-market is a focus. We will see how Gavin sees it. We hear different things. But what we do know is that the Web3 Foundation just appointed Bill LeBoon as the vice president of ecosystem. So also the Web3 Foundation is consolidating on the topic of ecosystem and ecosystem development, and will give a focus and attention to that, right? So we have the tech stack ready, and we have a focus now, and we have this here in the statement of Gavin saying, pairing the vision with the day-to-day execution and move fast and accelerate the next phase of growth, right? So he talks about growth specifically. He mentions this as a keyword here. I know Gavin is a guy who is not too keen on going so much into these daily conversations about should this be built and this be built, because he is really pointing, like he's really looking for the long run and building stuff for the long run. But I think he has this understanding still that like there needs to be people that develop the ecosystem and like letting them work and maybe equipping them with the resources needed is a good thing. But overall, I think the DAO, like OpenGov and the DAO, the people, we have learned a lot from the past mistakes that have been happening in the last year and so on. I would say the DAO is really consolidating. It's growing more conservative. It's growing more reliable. And the people are professionalizing step by step. And so I think what we really will see from this interplays that the Web3 Foundation will provide us. The Web3 Foundation will provide us with the the business development side of things and the networking and bringing in leads, people that want to build on Polkadot. And then once they start building, Parity will serve them on the technical side, and the ecosystem will serve them on the side of providing marketing, security audits, user experience support, legal support, etc., etc., etc. So this is something that the DAO has been growing to. And so I think you have these three institutions, so to say. You have the Web3 Foundation, you have Parity, and you have the DAO, and they are starting to become more a team that is actually focused on the common success of the whole thing. All right, what else can I say? New tokenomics are on the way. I guess you have heard that, and this is not the focus of our call today. But when we look at the roadmap, so tokenomics is a narrative that will be relevant in the coming time. New tokenomics are coming, and there's different conversations going on. There is the supply cap being discussed and a reduction of the inflation. And then I also made a contribution here, having a discussion about economic growth incentives, which basically means how can we grow parachains and how can we increase the DOT usage in the economy so that it is more of a productive asset and that the economy also benefits from it, that we increase the TVL in the economy, that we make it easy for DeFi to flourish, that we have innovation and competition for DOT. So all of these things are happening on the tokenomics side. We have OpenGov reforms, so also not just like the evolution of the teams that are building, but also like consolidation of parameters to make it easier for voters to stay focused on what they're building on. Yeah, and I think that's it. Maybe to zoom out one more time. Web3 is a word, a term that was coined by Gavin Wood, and describes an internet, a trustless internet, an internet where we can use applications that are free from interference of others, where we can just communicate peer-to-peer or use applications peer-to-peer, where we control our stuff. This term was coined by Gavin Wood. And if you look at his work, this vision is still working in him. This is still the vision that he is working on. And quite often, he's just shooting so far into the future by building Jam, by thinking about the fundamental issues that we need to solve in Polkadot, that it's sometimes too hard for us to grasp how far he's shooting. And then there is people like me, like many others in the ecosystem that are building on the stuff right now that say, okay, what are we given? What do we have? And what can we make out of that, right? And so this is also an invitation to you. I think there's this conversation going on in Ethereum right now, where I was posting this video yesterday. So I posted this video yesterday. Ethereum L2 fees is done. Stripe and Circle announces L1, and it was a little bit of a diss against the ETH bros that are sort of did not understand why Circle and Stripe are not building layer 2s on Ethereum, but rather decide to build layer 1s. And I think we have to confront the reality that the future is multi-chain, and the future is actually now. So we are seeing this future becoming true, where there is a multi-chain space of blockchains, and there are centralized layer 1s, there are decentralized layer 1s, there are centralized layer 2s, there are decentralized layer 2s. It's a really interesting mixture that is emerging. And you have to have this picture that there is a multi-chain. The world is multi-chain. The world is multi-chain, and that means we need to confront those realities. We need to look at what is bringing interoperability. Where does it make sense to be on a shared ledger, on a shared public ledger, and where do companies maybe just want to have a public ledger, but it's still like centralized or privately controlled. And how do we connect those things? How do we build an internet of blockchains, an internet of value? So this is the focus. And I think as long as we focus on that, as long as we focus on building an internet of value that is usable to users, where companies can comment, they can build the blockchains or the constructions that make sense to them, we have the right focus and the right attention. So, oops, I see this is a little bit of a weird mirror that you're having here. Yeah, so this is what I want to say today. So Gavin Wood back at the helm, becoming the CEO of Parity. What does it mean in the near term? I guess in the near term, not a lot will change. We have great teams working at Parity. We have great people working at Parity. But we will see a merger, I guess, of this long-term vision of Web3 and how it will influence the projects that we're seeing at Parity right now. So yeah, these are the things that I'm seeing. I don't see any questions. So I will give you maybe another minute to send in any questions if you have. And if you're not having any questions, I'm gonna end the live stream here now. What are we looking at? We're looking at the rollout of PVM previews on Kusama. And we see that the Polkadot 2.0 launch party is coming up. So in about 1 month, Elastic, like within the next month, Elastic scaling will be done, will be rolled out, and Polkadot 2.0 will be complete. And so that means in 1 month, we will be starting this campaign. We extended the campaign a little bit. It's gonna last 7 weeks. It's gonna be a 7 weeks campaign with a global online hackathon, with physical meetups. If you want to make a meetup in your town, in your city, you can invite your friends, and there will be more information coming out on that. And we will have all kinds of activations. There will be stuff for developers to do. There will be stuff for the community to do. Yeah. All right. I don't see any questions coming in the chat. So thank you for tuning in today. For me, this is exciting news. I don't really know what's going to happen. I see that Parity is doing really well right now, but I also think that people wanted to have this leadership question answered of who is taking the leadership. So I think, and I hope what we will see is that Gavin will be like changing a little bit of tone, a little bit of shift, maybe be more visible again in the public, but we will see, and yeah, we will keep reporting.